Hey there, folks. I am Charlotte, the Gulf Coast Granny, and tonight I am going to be crocheting this gorgeous shawl I got from the Bag o' Day YouTuber, Crystal, as we all know her. Um, it's made with this Stenli cake. I'll show you in a second, but this is the part of the shawl that I have made so far. And I'm making it with this Stenli cake in shades of red. And it's huge. It's like 1,400 yards of yarn, and so this shawl is gonna be pretty big, and I'm making it for a very good friend of mine, um, who every time she comes over, she wants to see what I've made. What have you made today? What have you made last week? What did you make this month? Thank you, God's Desire. It's so good to see you, and let me tell you what, I was sitting here waiting for the stream to begin, and I saw your message, and it was so kind. It made me so happy, and I just wanted you to know that. Thank you. Um, anyhow, she comes over and she asks me what I've made, and she always wants to look at it. And she has the most beautiful golden brown skin. She's I believe from somewhere in France, but she looks a little bit Middle Eastern, and she has big, beautiful brown eyes and dark hair. And I thought this red would just look fantastic on her. I could be wrong. I hope I'm not overstepping. Giving red sometimes is a delicate balance. And some people have some bad connotations of the color red, scarlet letter and that kind of thing. But I hope I'm not going to offend her by giving it to her. But I just thought that this color would be beautiful on her. So I'm making it. And I've been distracting myself. I'm looking at my crochet, and so please forgive me if you feel um, like I'm not paying attention. But uh, I finished all the squares on my blanket, and they're all behind me back there, stacked up in groups on that buffet. And I've gotten 17 of them put together. And then I got so sick of looking at it, I wanted to scream. Your grandmother was like that. Mine was too. Maybe it was just that generation, you know? I don't know, but I really hope that I'm not going to be offensive by giving it to her. And if I am, I'll just take it back and give it to somebody who does need a scarlet letter, and I'll make her something else. Um, but anyhow, I got so sick of looking at those squares that I had to distract myself with another project, right? So what I did was I made that ruffle sleeve sweater again, the purple one that I made earlier, I guess last month, but I left the ruffles out of it. Hey Terry, hey Rudy, um, and I'm wearing it. I made it with 100% bamboo, the lucky yarn that I can no longer get from Joann's, and I'm really sad about that. That's the only thing I've ever bought from Joann's that I wish I could buy more of. Um, but I made this cardigan. Let me stand up and see if you could. I left the ruffles off of the sleeves and I made them a little bit longer. And I made the actual sweater just to hit the tops of my hips. And y'all, I like this so much better than the purple one that I made, because the purple one, those ruffles were so bulky under the arm, and it made me feel like I was wearing a winter coat. And it's a very comfortable sweater, but it's too big because the yarn stretched a lot. I wasn't expecting that. And so I made it out of this bamboo, and I can't tell you how much I love this little cardigan. And it's great because I don't like to show my arms at all, but I do like to wear tank tops in the summertime. But I don't usually because I don't like to show my arms. And there ain't nothing wrong with my arms. It's just I've always been that way. And I don't see myself ever changing after 60 years of being that way. And so what I thought I would make a few of these little cardigans, maybe not necessarily in this pattern, but to wear over the summer to cover my arms when I wear my little tank tops. And I also wear you have the same issue with some yarns that I'm telling you what, this Lucky Brand yarn, I hope that there is a place eventually that we can find it in another store or retailer. Um, Rudy, please quit putting all those numbers in my chat. That feels like spam to me, and I really don't care for that. I don't mind when you update us on the time, but please stop doing that. You've been a very long time viewer of my channel, and I really appreciate that. And I don't want to have to keep you from coming to my channel. Do you understand? Thank you. Um, I'm sorry, where was I? You're ready to learn knitting. Oh, wow. God's desire. I've been considering that myself for a few months. Actually, it was going to be my New Year's resolution to learn knitting this year. But I'm a little intimidated, to be honest with you. Um, so there's that. Is okay, let me check. I'm going to check out my chat, make sure I haven't missed anybody. Okay. So, anyhow, I made this while I was on my little break, and I'll get to that in a minute. And then I started on this shawl. Um, and I'm basically just distracting myself from putting together the rest of that blanket. And I really hope that once I finish this shawl, that I will have a little more motivation and excitement to get that blanket finished and out of my hair. Uh, I love the blanket. I love the way it looks. Let me show you. I think this is the one row that I have put together. It is going to be so pretty when it's finished. Um, there's the end, and then it goes on across that way. And there's the other end. But me and my daughter, we painstakingly laid it out in the floor of the living room, and we put every square so that there wasn't a repeat in this row, and there weren't two very similar ones next to each other, and we got them all stacked up. Thank you, Rudy. Thank you very much. Hey, Bone Tired, how are you? You just got back from Helen, Georgia. Isn't that a beautiful place? I don't know what it looks like in the wintertime or this time of year, but in the summertime, I just loved it. It's so quaint. It is a little crowded in the summer. How was it this time of year? Was it super crowded? Because you know what? Mardi Gras was here last week, and I'm so glad that mess is over with. Um, really glad. I don't like Mardi Gras at all. I don't drink. Well, I have a glass of wine now and then, but I'm not what one would call a drinker at all. And I don't go out and gallivant and carouse around town and, take my life and everybody else's into my hands. And it really disturbs me to go out in town and see all of that revelry, I'll call it. But anyhow, once I get done with this shawl, I really intend to put the rest of that blanket together. I do know Kelly from I Bring It Every Day. I really love her channel, especially on Mondays, Rudy. Monday morning, she does a motivational Monday. And if y'all haven't connected with Kelly, Her channel name is I Bring It Every Day, and she is wonderful. Anyhow, what I was going to say is, shoot, I done forgot now. Oh, it's been almost 35 years since I've made a blanket as big as this one. This is probably even bigger than the last one I made. Um, and I hope it's 30 years till I make another one that big. How you like that? I bit off a big project that I really was not completely prepared to finish. Do y'all get like that? Do you get to where you just get tired of something, you don't wanna look at it anymore? Foodie beauty. Oh, Rudy, she's a train wreck. Um, I'm about to get to the most aggravating row of this shawl, and it's not really aggravating, it's not hard at all. It's just a bunch of, puff stitches or bobbles, excuse me, they're bobble stitches, and that takes the longest of every row in this whole shawl, but it's so pretty when it's done. Um, okay, I'm done with that. Sorry, Rudy. You done irritated me now. I asked you nicely. Anyhow, let's see. I got to pay attention to what I'm doing right here. There. Um, again, it's not a hard row to do, but it is, it takes a long time because it's 5 stitches per space. That's okay. We'll get through it. God's desire said what now? For sure. That's why they call them whips. That's true. That is true. Hey, Camille, how are you? Thanks for popping in. Um, here we go, y'all. I might have to read my directions one more time on this because I get a little bit confused sometimes where I'm at. This is a 5-row repeat. Ain't no 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6 row. 6-row repeat. Oh, it was a little crowded, but not crazy. Oh, I bet that was such a wonderful trip. I'm a little bit jealous, but that's okay. Hey, Yankee Kyle, how are you doing this evening? I'm so glad to see. You know what? I saw you, Camille, on your channel earlier doing your live on the porch, and you were talking about dyeing some yarn. I think it was on the porch. Well, now I can't. I don't know if it was on the porch or not, but you did talk about dyeing some yarn. And I thought, well, that would be interesting to watch. Are you recording it? Okay, let me see. 1 minute here, guys. I just want to check and make sure I'm doing it right. DC, single crochet next, then bobble. Okay, I got it. I just need to verify sometimes if I remember it correctly. You know, even with a 6-row repeat, if it's a simple pattern, it's very simple to, you know, just keep going without reading the pattern. But once in a while, it's good to check and make sure that I'm in the right spot doing the right thing, you know? Girl, you better finish. I will, Denise. I promise I will. It's just, I got tired of it. And I'm going to get to it as soon as I finish this shawl. And I should be finished with this probably within the next, well, definitely by Friday. I'm hoping by Wednesday. Um, 3, 4, 5, 6. Um, So how's everybody doing? Oh, just as short of the dyeing? What color are you using, or is it a surprise? You're just sick of looking at it. I am truly sick of looking at it. I needed something to break up the monotony, you know? Y'all, this has been such a busy week for me and Poppy. Um, my son broke his foot on Sunday. It was something like this: skateboard plus teenage boy plus two teenage girls gawking at him equal disaster. Okay, I'll think spring. Um, he was, and he told me, when I told him, I said, "You shouldn't have been showing off for those little girls." And he said, "Mama, I was there first." I said, "Well, you got a point. Got a point." But anyhow, he fell while he was doing a trick on his skateboard and sprained his ankle really, really bad. Um, Denise, you might know what an avulsion fracture is of the navicular bone in the foot. Well, that's what he's got. Basically, he sprained his foot so bad that it pulled some bone apart on the other side of his foot. So he's in a boot now. Well, we took him to the emergency. Well, Sunday night, I wasn't sure that it was broken. And he was having a little bit of trouble walking on it, but he could actually put pressure on it. So I figured he just had a sprained ankle, okay? And it wasn't really swelling super bad or anything like that. It had one weird little lump on it, but that was it. And yes, no surgery, thank God. Thank God. Um but anyhow, so Monday morning, I told my husband, I said, let's not take him tonight. Wait till in the morning and see if it's any worse. And if it is, we'll take him in. Well, Poppy went on and went to work. And here was the boy hobbling out here to the couch. I had wrapped it in ace bandage and we had ice on it off and on, all night long. And gave him some Motrin to try to, reduce the swelling and all that. And I felt like my God, this boy went through 3 bags of frozen vegetables because I like to use frozen vegetables to put on injuries. Because, well, they're cheap and they fit. They'll wrap around if you need it to. So anyhow, we we took him to the emergency room Monday because it was swollen and black and blue on his ankle. And they x-rayed it and said, yep, he's got a small fracture, blah, blah, blah. So they referred us to the orthopedic doctor. Well, now, mind you, this was on Monday, and they told us to call the next morning. Well, I called the next morning, which was Fat Tuesday. Nobody was there. They were completely out of that office on Tuesday. I even called another orthopedic surgeon thinking that, that I could get him in somewhere else. No, nobody was open. I'm like, are you kidding me? These crazy people around here close up shop for Mardi Gras. It's not like it's a, national holiday or something, but they do. They do. So anyhow, I called Wednesday. They got him in on Thursday and they gave him a boot all the way up to his knee. And we get the boot home. He's walking around okay. He's got one crutch. He's got a set of crutches that I bought him, but he's only using the one because he said that's okay. And the next day, these boots have an air bladder in them to stabilize your leg inside the boot. So he's got little skinny legs like this big around because he's only weighs 100 pounds sopping wet. So they pumped it up, to keep his leg from wobbling in there. because if it's not tight, it's not doing its job, right? Oh, we have bone tired. We have kept those peas and carrots and green beans and frozen peppers. We've kept all of it going. Well, and when we were the emergency room, they gave him one of those wraparound ice bags, the white ones with the gel or something in them. So we've been refreezing that too. Since we don't have Mardi Gras up here, we get holiday pay. We can use. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So anyway, the bladder quit working in this janky boot that they gave us. And it's not their fault. It was just defective from the store. I saw her take it out of the wrap. It was brand spanking new. And anyhow, we had to get him a new one today. So we traveled all the way back over to Diamond Head and exchanged it. And now he's doing a little better as far as walking goes. And he's still in quite a bit of pain, though. I don't know how long it's going to take for him to not be in quite so much pain. He's still struggling to walk, even with the boot, just because I guess putting the pressure, of the pressure of standing. But I'll be glad when that's over. Now, the Motrin helps him a lot, and he does a lot better with that. And of course, the ice helps with the swelling and stuff. So yeah, that's where we're at. Got a boy with a broken foot. But there's also good news concerning my son. We went to a meeting today at the boy's school. He was in the delinquent school for kids who can't follow the rules. He got put in there the first week of December, I think, maybe the second. And it's been 45 days, and tomorrow he goes back to the high school, and he couldn't be any happier. And I'm happy that all this is over with, and hopefully it is a permanent memory. But hopefully he got a good lesson in how to follow rules and what the consequences are if you don't. Oh, well, hey, Doggy Life, how are you doing? I'm sorry, dear. I have forgotten your first name. If you want to post it, you can. And if not, I'll just call you Doggy Life, okay? Yeah, congratulations to him. He had me worried because he is not what one might call an independent student. Doggy Life, I honestly do not know. Um, I sent her a message on Instagram today just telling her that she was missed and that I hope everything's okay. And I haven't heard back from her. So I guess time will tell. I hope she's just taking a break, honestly. Um, I hope there's nothing serious going on. I've been thinking about her for 2 weeks now. Your son got sent to alternative school for having a cell phone at school. He went one day. The principal knew us, called and said he needed to come the next day for a special test. All right, then. I guess he passed his test, huh? See, we weren't lucky. We didn't have any ends to get him out of this trouble. Um, but it's okay. I'm okay with how it all turned out. Oh, what I was going to tell you is he's not a real good independent student. He really needs a teacher to keep him motivated and to keep him on task. And he took the test and was set up for his GED 3 days later. Wow. He passed and started college 2 weeks later. That's incredible. And you know what? I told my son that if he ever makes another trip back to the alternative school, that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to get his GED, and we're not going to tolerate this crap no more. He can just get a full-time job, go to school, and pay me rent if he wants to act stupid at school. He was in 11th grade. I'll be excuse me. So anyhow, one of the rules to go back to the high school from this alternative school is to you can't have any zeros in any of your classes, and you have to be passing all your classes. Well, 3 weeks ago, I looked at his grades and all of his zeros, and now mind you, my son misses a lot of school because of his migraine headaches, and it's really difficult for him when he gets overwhelmed to not just throw up his hands and say, "I quit," okay? He gets he feels like he's in a hole and he can't dig himself out, so he just stops digging. "Hey, Jane Doe, how are you tonight?" 3, 4, 5, 6. And so he did have some zeros from missing some days in January. So I knew that the 9 weeks was about to be up, right? So I was on him for like 2 solid weeks. "Hey, you need to get those zeros caught up. Hey, do your work, every day after school. Did you do any of your extra work?" Well, no, he didn't. So the week before they got out for Mardi Gras, I found out that he had to have all of those zeros caught up before he could go back to the high school. And I'm like, "Oh, no, this is not going to happen this way. You're going back to the high school and you're going to get out of this place. I'm tired of you being there. You don't need to be there." So I made him work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and after school on Tuesday. And by the time Wednesday rolled around before the break last week, he had everything caught up and he was passing all of his classes. Because I was like, "Nope, nope, we ain't gonna have this. You need to get back to class so you can do band and, be in band tryouts for next year and all that stuff." So, but I told him, I said, "Why do I care about this more than you do? You're the one that has to care, not me." So, you know, he's doing really good now, and I think he's in a better frame of mind since all this is over with. I am doing great, Jane Doe. Thank you for asking. Um, I think things are about to get back to normal here in the Gulf Coast Granny's house. I thought I was just going to take a few days off from YouTube, and it ended up turning into almost 2 weeks, y'all. I don't know how that happened because I really enjoy doing my live streams and talking to folks, all of you people who come in here and support my channel. And I kind of feel a little bit guilty for not coming on, but like I said, it's been kind of crazy. Jane Doe, he's doing a lot better today. We got him a new boot, and he's going back to high school tomorrow. So he's doing all right, and I'm glad to say it, to be honest with you. Um, he's still in a little bit of pain, but that's just come and go, I think, with this particular type of injury. So tomorrow, I was thinking about doing a video on my garden, and I was wondering how many of you might be interested in seeing all the work that we've done. Look, this is the God's honest truth. It still looks like a junkyard out there, but once I point out all the things that have been accomplished, you'll be able to kind of, well, for those of you who've seen my garden before, you'll see the difference. You'll see how much work we've done to get to the point that we're at. So if you want to go back, thank you, Jane. That is so kind. I appreciate that. Um, if you want to go back and look at a couple of my gardening videos from about 2 years ago, you'll see a difference whenever I post the video tomorrow. I'll either have it up tomorrow or the next day. I'm hoping to get up really early in the morning, get the video done, and then upload it, say sometime around noon or 1 o'clock. But y'all, I'm just talking. Don't listen to nothing I'm saying because it could be the next day at 5 or 6 o'clock. Because I'm not a reliable person. Not when I'm tired. Definitely not when I'm tired. But y'all, I've been sleeping really good lately. I don't know what the difference. I don't know what happened. But 2 weeks ago, I s- I started sleeping all night long. I was going to bed at like 9 o'clock, sometimes 8 o'clock, and waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning, getting my dishes done, getting my laundry done, getting my mopping done. And I'm like, what the devil has gotten into me, right? Um, I don't know what happened, but boy, I tell you what, that sleep has been absolutely wonderful. I don't know how long it's going to last. It doesn't usually last a long time, but it sure has been a very welcome break from all the insomnia that I've been having in the past. Two, three, four, five, six. I just thought I heard a car. It's not my daughter. My daughter is at the gym tonight with her little friend, and I don't like her being out after dark. But she is a grown woman, supposedly. Um, I'm trying really hard to cut the umbilical cord, so to speak, because she's going to be going off to college to another state probably in January, and I want her to have some experience of making decisions for herself and, you know, making mistakes while she's got some support. Lord knows I made enough mistakes when I was that age. I think we all did, honestly. I was talking to her about it last night, and I said, "Look, sometimes the only lessons you learn really fast are the lessons that hurt a whole bunch, you know, but they don't get it till later. They don't understand that." You know what I could do is I could get my big old ugly face off of oh, I shouldn't say that. I could get my face off here and let y'all see the crocheting that I'm doing instead of the other way around. That way I won't feel so guilty about looking down here at my work. Oh, I did wanna say something, though, before I do that. Look, if y'all don't have one of these contraptions here, this is a total game changer, this yarn holder thing. That yarn just falls look at that. It just comes right off the skein. It doesn't get tangled up, and I love this thing. And I only paid like $20 for it on Amazon. So if y'all want one, go get you one. I don't even know what they call it on Amazon, but yeah, s let's get some of these bobble stitches made up real quick. 4, 5, 6. It's a bobble stitch and then a single crochet in the double crochet underneath, and then a bobble stitch just all the way around this shawl. 3, 4, 5. That looks like it does look like a banana stand, doesn't it? Well, the cool thing is, look, this comes off and you just stick your yarn there on that through the center and it's got a magnet that holds it in, and it just dangles. And I really like it a lot. It's makes crocheting a lot easier. You don't have to worry about it, wiggling around all over the table or the floor or the sofa. And it does a good job. And that's a rather large skein of yarn. Um, it's 1,400 yards of two weight cotton, and it holds it just fine. That magnet is really strong. Now, I'll tell you another one that it holds too. It'll hold these cakes, and it will hold, I don't think it'll hold one of these this one. Yes, it will. It would be tight with this if you stuck it in the center and had it like this. But I think if you squished it down a little bit, it would fit good. But I don't know if it would stay. Anyhow, this is marginal. It might or might not work. But other than those kind of skeins of yarn, any other ball of yarn I've got, it works just perfect on it. And it works really well with cakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. All right, now I'm going to get back to regularly scheduled programming. There we go. Oh, fiddlesticks. I just pulled that whole thing apart. Look at that. There. I'll hold this shawl up in a minute and show you a little bit of progress. Like I said, this row here does take the longest. Oh, what I was going to tell you is Poppy has cleared out all of the beds except for one from the garden. So it's basically completely empty of beds now. And he set all the posts for the fence, and there was 12 posts. We're going to be using cattle panel for the fencing, so it's going to be 50 inches tall. And the very back row of the fence is going to be an arbor going outside the fence. And that way I'm going to plant my squash and my birdhouse gourds and anything that'll dangle back there. I'm going to be able to pick it by walking underneath the arbor and grabbing stuff that way. And that's really exciting to me. I've been wanting one of those for a very long time. Also, I have two gates, one in the front of the garden, right almost parallel to this back door here. I walk down the stairs and walk right into the garden. Um, and then one in the very back corner closest to my little red shed, because that's where I keep my gorilla cart. And I thought it would be nice to have a wide 4-foot gate back there on that end so I didn't have to bring everything all around to the front to get soil and my tools and all that stuff. So I'm very excited about that. Now, like I said, right now, it doesn't look like much, but when you see it, you'll understand the concept. Um, I'm ordering 4 new beds this week. I have the gray one. I have a gray one that's 8.5 feet by 3 feet, and I'm ordering another one of those this week. And then I'm also ordering 2 by 4 foot beds, and I've got 2 by 4 foot beds. Two 2 by 4 foot. So I'll have 4 total by the end of the week, plus the big ones. Now that's not nearly enough, but it will get me started planting, um, so that I can save enough money to buy the other ones that I want. And I'm excited about that. I'm just hoping like crazy that I'm able to get some tomatoes in there before the heat comes, and get some tomatoes in there that will produce before the heat comes. That's gonna be one heck of a trick, because I wanted it done by next weekend. I don't think it's gonna be done by next weekend. We have a lot more to do. One, two, fiddlesticks. But I did expand it, a little more. It was 16 feet long and only 18 feet wide. And I know that's a small space, but you can grow a lot in a small space. Um, Especially if you optimize it, which I did not. But now it's going to be 16 feet deep and 24 feet across instead of just 18. It's not a lot of space, but trust me, it'll look like a lot when it's finished. I backed it away from the back patio by another foot and a half, so I will have more room to build more patio and put furniture and my barbecue stuff and all that out there. Gosh, I feel like my yarn is tangled, but it's not. Okay. Um, and I'm looking forward to having a place where I can put my porch swing and um, just be able to enjoy the garden, really. So let me know if you want to see it, because I will definitely do that. Um, Denise, I just read the part about your twin, the other twin, stayed in school and was half a credit from graduating. And he said, forget it. Wow. That was a brave move there. That was a really brave move. I don't know if I'd have been brave enough to do that. I think that high school's just not for some people. Hey, Michelle, how are you tonight? It's good to see you. I've been taking a little bit of a hiatus and a break basically from YouTube. So I'm glad to be back. Very glad to be back. Okay. So there it is. Let me put it this way. Okay. Let's turn this a little bit this way. Whoops. There it is. I just love the pattern on this. I love that it looks hard, but it's actually very easy. Um, I love that it looks warm enough to use spring, summer, fall, you know. Because I'm gonna tell you what, I don't know about y'all, but I really do not like to be air conditioner cold. That's what I call it. When it's summertime, it's hot as blazes outside, and somebody has their AC set on meat locker. Like, if you go to a restaurant and it's freezing cold in there compared to the outside. I love to have something like this to stay warm in the restaurant, but it's not a heavy coat or a heavy jacket because you don't need that in the summertime, but it's just something you can throw over your shoulders, stay warm, and then when you get outside, throw it in your pocketbook or wear it for a little doodad or something, scarf or decoration. Thank you. Thank you, Denise. I appreciate that. Of course, it's not my design. I have to say that. I'm copying it off of somebody else. I got this pattern from the Bag a Day crochet channel. Crystal. She has some of the most beautiful shawls of anybody out there. Of course, there's another lady that I watch called Allison Russell, and I really, really enjoy her shawl patterns too, especially her baby blanket patterns. They are special. Um, yeah, I'm doing the work. I can concede to that. Um, I know there's a lot of folks out there that wish they knew how, and I wish I could teach them all, but I don't have the patience. I'm not a teacher kind of lady. I'm the mom that calls out spelling words and they say, let's just pretend that they have to spell cat, and they started off P, and I'm like, what the heck are you thinking? You know that's not a P. That is not the sound that P makes. Do that again. That's the kind of teacher I am. And I know it probably was never pleasant for my children. I really promise I tried not to make them feel dumb. I did. I tried so hard. But sometimes, when one of my sons, we do spelling, call out the spelling words to him so he could write them down or whatever, or call them back out to me, and he would just make letters up. I'd say, "How do you spell ocean?" And he'd say, SLU. And I think he did it because he knew it aggravated me so bad. Those were fun days. I miss having the little ones here, but you know, I don't miss it that much to do it all over again. I don't know who's trying to. I put this on Do Not Disturb, and I'm still getting notifications. What's that all about? Because I'm filming with my phone. My hands are on my phone, and my face, I'm using my. Y'all, this is my new camera. And I just wondered if you could tell a difference in the way it looks. Now, mind you, I did put a little bit of makeup on today. I don't usually do that, but I was kind of feeling a little bit fancy. Um, well, and plus we had to go to all those appointments today, and I didn't want to look like I was slumming. Um, it is clear, isn't it? I I'll tell you, bone tired. I bought this Logitech 920 something camera about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I got so frustrated with it because it kept turning off. Well, the last 3 times I've used it, it won't turn off. I mean, it doesn't just automatically turn. I'm gonna knock on wood because you watch, it'll do it now. Um, but excuse me. um, so I decided to try to use it again, and I've used it 3 times now, not on this, but on some other stuff I was doing. And it worked fine. So I don't know what the problem was, but it seems to have resolved itself magically. So I'm gonna use it as long as it works, and then if it stops working, I'll figure out another option. But that camera on my Chromebook is just awful, and it's grainy, and it looks so amateurish. And I thought, you gotta really up your game a little bit, even if it is just a little bit. So I figured I'd try this. And so far, so good. I was real happy with the picture, though. It was very clear and um, it's working. So well, I'll go back to the better picture. That my phone really does do um, good video. I'm very, very surprised at how good the video looks on it. And here on StreamYard, we're just streaming in what is it, 720? So there's that. Can you imagine if it was 1080 or 4K? It'd be pretty awesome. One of these days, I'll save up enough money to get myself a really good computer that I can do, you know, use that extra stuff. Because right now, I mean, I've only got one USB port on this Chromebook. There's not a lot I can do with it. You can't download all the programs for cool editing and stuff. So I have to use the KineMaster program. Not that I dislike it, because I really love it. It's one of the easiest things I've ever used as far as on the computer. It was super simple to learn, and I enjoyed that. But I would like to learn some more detailed things so I can do a better job. Oh my, here we go. I'm almost at the halfway point with this one row. Can you believe that? I'm kind of looking forward to getting to another color, like the next color in the of the reds. It's sort of like a gradient. So it'll be a very subtle change, but it'll be one that I can see because I'm this close to it. I've got to get something going for our channel. My husband has encouraged me to add cricket and crafting since we travel so little. That's a good idea. That cricket stuff is very, very popular. Um, and that's another thing I can't do with my Chromebook. I can't use a Cricut because I don't have enough RAM um, or power. So I just didn't even buy one. One, two, three. Goodness gracious. Come on, Charlotte. Um, but yeah, that's a great idea. And if you do, maybe I can learn how to do it from your channel. Hey, Gary, how are you doing? It's good to see you tonight. Thank you for coming in, hanging out with us for a little bit. How was your meetup? Did you get to go to that yet? I know it was supposed to be soon. Last time I talked to you. And just so you know, I saw you on a live stream the other day. Um, it said something about Devil Dog had gone somewhere, so you were gonna just go ahead and do it. Oh, it's the 11th through the 13th. Okay. Oh, I didn't realize there was a meetup in Helen. Was that for the travel channels? But anyhow, for that video, I fell asleep to you talking in my ear, Gary. I didn't say nothing because I was so tired, but I figured I'd give you some watch time. The race, that's right. You said he was going to the race. That's right. Now I remember. but I did another one a little later. Oh, did you? Okay. Well, I know it was daylight when I fell asleep, I think. It was early when I fell asleep. And you as well, Gary. Thank you. Um, look at here, y'all. Oof, oof, oof. Okay, now I don't know what to do. Okay, well, uh, let's do this. Four, five, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, wait, no, I shouldn't have done that. I should have put a. Look here, I'm looking like an amateur, aren't I? Um, you tell that yarn who the boss is, and it'll do what you want it to do. You are correct, Gary. You are correct. You just gotta let it know who's in charge. Okay, that was the right thing to do. Okay. You know, it's amazing to me that you can just make little loops with your hook and end up making some of the most beautiful things. It's pretty incredible. Okay. No, no belt loop. Thank you for saying so, but I am not the boss. You know nothing about yarn. That's all right. Anytime you buy a sweater from the store, somebody's used yarn to make it. Or some machine, depending on if it's knit or crocheted. It's probably knit though. All them sweaters at the stores are knit on machines, and it's just telling the yarn what to do. Okay, did I do that right? Yes, I did. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right then. 3. Oops. It would be more like the one who yells and threatens the you would be you think I haven't done that a time or two in the last 50 years of me crocheting? Let me tell you what, when I was a kid, this yarn would make me so mad, and I would just cut it up into pieces. I'd get so aggravated with my and it wasn't the yarn doing it, I was mad with myself for not being able to accomplish what I wanted to. I was a little volatile as a child. You do actually? Okay. Um, I was, uh I was good at having temper tantrums when I was a kid. Poppy Mike would tell you that I'm good at it now, but he ain't seen nothing, okay? Poppy ain't seen nothing. You told that yarn a thing or two. Look here. Are we trying to Mardi Gras still? I've seen about all the Mardi Gras I want to see for the year, y'all. Gary. I don't want to hear no Cajun. I don't want to see none. No dancing in the street. No crazy beads. Not till cruising the coast. That'll be the first week of October. Denise, have you guys ever been down here for cruising the coast? I don't know if y'all like the cars or not, but boy, me and Poppy really enjoy cruising the coast. It's just eye candy to drive up and down the streets here. No showing the. Oh, okay. That's right. No showing the. Never mind. No, y'all should do that. It is so much fun. And they have different events and parades all over the coast when it comes to, what they do, competitions. And over at the Island View Casino, I think it's the Tuesday night of that week, they do a flame throwing contest. And what that is all them cars that have fire coming out the back end, they do these little contests to see who has the most fire. And that is fun. That is so much fun. Oh, you were there for it a few times pre-Katrina. Look here. About 5 years ago, we went to one of the parades here in Long Beach. And this is on Monday night of that week. They have the parade here in Long Beach. And there were so many cars that signed up for that parade. It lasted from 5:30 that evening until after 10 o'clock at night. Can you believe that? It was insane. So now what they've had to do is limit the amount of participants that can be in that parade because they don't want it lasting that long. You've never been to Cruising the Coast, but I have been to the Rod Run and Pit. Oh, okay. Yes, fire, Denise, fire. It's the coolest thing ever. And the thing is, if you get there early, you can park in the parking garage, and so you got this downward view of the whole exhibition. If not, you're out in the crowd standing around a bunch of people, and if you're short like me, you're not going to be able to see crap unless you know how to wiggle up there to the front and get close. But it's a lot of fun. And then of course there's lots of car shows and things like that. It's really fun. They have a lot of rat rods and the old muscle cars. And now what I will not suggest, I don't know if y'all like to hear the loud cars or not, but I don't. It disturbs me. I have a really interesting startle reflex. I startle super easily. So anytime we're driving down the road and one of the cars goes blocka 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 really loud, it scares the daylights out of me, and I jump nearly out of my seat. So one time we were over at this restaurant in the past, and we're eating outside on the patio during Cruising the Coast. Dumbest thing I ever did in my whole life. It's not about the noise. For me, it's about the lines. Oh, you don't like lines on the car. Yes, I understand that. What's your favorite old car, Gary? I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours. Okay, good car. Good car. Mine is the 59 Impala with the curved glass in the back, and it's like a land shark. But now, if you want to talk muscle cars, well, I'll tell you what I used to have. with my ex-husband. We had a 68 Oldsmobile 442, and we built that thing from the ground up. Yes, I learned how to work on cars, because, if you can't beat them, join them, right? And if I wanted any attention spent on myself, I had to learn something. Um, and I wasn't just a tool handler. Um, yeah, that was fun. Got real dirty. That's okay. It was fun. But we had that, and we also had a 64 Oldsmobile. What did they call that car? It was a ragtop. F85. F85. I had a friend in Houston that had one. Beautiful black and white 69 442. Man, I was then. The only dirty I get now is in the garden. No oil and grease for me anymore. Of course, I guess if I had to change a tire or spark plug or replace an alternator, I could do it. Would I want to? No, but I could. Yeah, that garden dirt's wonderful dirt. But yeah, we had one of those. Now, my favorite muscle car had to be I'm trying to think. You've tried to raise Tammy to be self-sufficient. Well, it's a good thing to do. I was a Navy wife many years of my adult life, many. And every time my husband would leave to go out to sea, the washer would break, the car would break down, the radiator would get too hot or whatever. And I had to learn. Well, during those years, I was really grateful for the car experience I had when I was a teenager and a young adult, because I was able to fix things. I'm still thinking on it, Gary. Just give me a second. I think I'm going to have to say, I'd have to say 65 Mustang coupe. Jamie fixes her washers and dryers. Devil dog doesn't do it. I had to fix those too. One time I had to replace in the dryer. As it goes around, there's these little bushings in there, and I had to replace one of them because the stinking thing it broke, and it was making the most horrific noise. And I thought the thing was broke for good, but I had a friend come help me out and tell me what was wrong with it. Wouldn't do the work, made me do that, but oh, it is not a pony car. It weighs less and it goes fast. Depends on what you put in it. Pony car. Yeah, it was a muscle car. It was. Of course, the Chargers were nice. And Roadrunners. That was a pretty car. Roadrunner was a beautiful car. Especially if it was purple. And I did like the Mopars. When I first met Poppy, I had a 1974 Dodge Dart. It was also a Land Shark. I've always liked big cars, though. Per Google, the Mustang broke all post-World War II automotive sales records, creating the pony car craze soon adopted by competitors. 65 Mustang proved to be the template for the new class of Mustang and automobiles, yes. My favorite was a 99 Miata. Okay, it was mine, and I drove it like I stole it. You know what? when I was right after I graduated high school, because my mother had passed away when I was very young, I got this big sum of money, not huge, but big for me at 18. And I went right straight to the Datsun dealer. Remember, Nissan used to be Datsun. And they had just come out with the very first year of the Nissan 300ZX. You ain't going to believe how much it cost. Back then, brand new showroom was $14,700. And I called my dad up and I said, hey, I found the car that I want. He said, yeah, what is it? He said, and I told him what it was. I said, Dad, it talks to you. It says, the door is open. He said, Charlotte, buying a brand new car is the worst investment you could ever make in your entire life, and I'm not going to let you spend your money on that. Oh my God, it broke my heart because I had dreamed of a, 240Z all of my life. That was the car I was going to have. And I still might have one of these days. Of course, it won't do me any good because I can't drive now, but I'd still like to have one for Poppy to drive me around in. I think I'd look cute in a yellow 240Z. Anyhow, so he went to looking for cars for me, something reasonable, a good investment, and something that was not going to break the bank. Now, look, I had more than $14,000 at that point in time, but he was being a very good guardian over my money. And he found me a 1974 Monte Carlo with the half leather or half vinyl top. Brome, is that what they called it? It looked like it had come off the showroom floor. Some old lady had owned it and kept it in the garage and used it as a grocery getter for 10 years. She bought it brand new. I was the second owner. And I paid $2,740 for that car. That car lasted me over 5 years. I drove it like I stole it, even though it was big, excuse me. It wasn't a little car. And no, they don't make those anymore. But that was an amazing car. I loved it. And it even had seat. In fact, the interior of it was this color right here, this pretty burgundy color. It was white, had the burgundy top and burgundy interior. God, it was gorgeous. And it rode like a Cadillac. Yep, I just paid off my secondhand 2014 4Runner, and it immediately needed a brake job. Oh no, short somewhere that's blowing fuses in your headlights. Huh. Well, bone tired, I wish you lived closer. Poppy could look at that for you. He does electronics all day long. Now that is a car. You go, girl. My first was my late grandmother's 72 Ford Pinto. Look, that car, I wish I would have never sold that Monte Carlo. I loved it. The seats would swivel like this. You get out of it, turn your seat, and you didn't have to kind of, squish out of it. You could just turn and stand up. It was amazing. Yeah. Now, if I had to, it had a 32,000 original miles. Wow. Wow. I forget what mine had, to be honest with you. At that point, I was just happy to have a car. But I loved it. That was my car. But then after that one, I ended up selling it five years later for $1,500. So I drove that car for 5 years for little or nothing. I didn't even pay $3,000 for it. Now my dad told me that it was a rolling garbage dump. Of course, when you're a young person, teenager, young adult, you throw your McDonald's bags in the back and you don't value what you had, especially when you don't really pay for it yourself. And I learned that the hard way. Hey, beauty. I'm doing a live stream. What are you doing? Are you hurting? You did? What's a PR? Oh, she hit a new personal record today. What was the record?
270 on angled leg presses and 40 on hip thrusts.
Did you hear what my daughter just said? Remember the one with the psoriatic arthritis? She did 270-pound leg presses on an angled what? An angled leg press. Jeez. Headed out, Charlotte. Have a great night. You too, Gary. Thank you again for coming in and hanging out with us for a little while.
Like this.
Oh, okay. It's the one where you push up with your feet. Okay. Look, you know what, Denise? Ever since she got on the Celebrex, she's been a new woman. She's not in constant pain anymore. She's able to do things that she hasn't been able to do in years, somewhat her whole life. And she hasn't. We've been having a heck of a time battling the insurance company to get her the Cosentix, and they're not going to give it to her. They want her to try another systemic like methotrexate, or what's that other one that starts with an S? I know you'll know what it is. The thing is, both of those medications and the ones like them have a tendency to cause anemia, and she's already anemic because of her arthritic condition. So what we're going to have to do is try her out on it, and then if she becomes more anemic, have them stop it and get the other stuff. So it's just going to be a playing the insurance company, basically. I don't want none of that blue drink. I don't like that stuff at all. Will you get the dog and let him out, please? Because I know he wants to go. It is tough. It's a tough drug. Salus. Wait a minute. What is that other drug? I can't remember. It starts with an S, but it's a similar drug to the. Doesn't work in the same way, I don't think. But so we're gonna. She goes back to her rheumatologist here before too much longer, and we're gonna just tell him to put her on that until maybe have her blood tested every couple of months or so to see if she's becoming anemic, more anemic. I'm really concerned about. Of course, Cosentix is all those biologic drugs are ones that Sal's something seen, or I keep wanting to say salicylic acid. I know that's not it. But anyhow, what was I going to say? Shoot. Don't matter, because I done forgot it. That dog is not happy unless one of us is out there with him. See? He probably wants you to go chase the Plaquenil. No, they haven't tried that. What does Plaquenil do? I've heard of that medication before. I just don't know how it works. She just got this diagnosis in early December, and the only thing they've given her so far for the actual arthritic condition is the Celebrex. They prescribed Cosentix, but we've gotten 2 rejection letters from the insurance company. It did nothing for me, and I refused methotrexate and biologics. See, I'm worried about the biologics too. That's what I was going to say. Those are the drugs that have all the cancer warnings and the risk of infection, like weird infections and stuff. fatal infections. No, that's scary to me. But my husband has taken them for years. He took Embrel for a long time, and then they switched him to Humira. Honestly, I think the Embrel worked better for him. Um,
He said, Sissy, I'm hungry. He said, I'm hungry.
he can't be hungry. I just fed him.
He's supposed to eat again.
Okay, feed him again.
Look.
It did nothing for you, and you refuse. Okay.
Hey. Sit.
Yeah, methotrexate's a tough drug. I've had it one time in my life for I had an ectopic pregnancy, and that's what they use to fix it. I had to be treated for latent TB. It was found on blood work, and I'm scared it will come back. Well, it shouldn't. It shouldn't come back. What a shame. That is really a shame. And maybe it's not stupid because you know what? Every time I have one little pain in my thumb, I think I'm having another heart attack. And that's stupid because I crochet nonstop. And why wouldn't my thumb hurt once in a while, right? It's always this thumb where I'm holding. That's the thumb that started hurting when I had my heart attack. Well, no kidding. There's an artery going there. Goes straight up, this way. But every time I get pain in my thumb, it scares me for a minute until I know that's not what it is. I can rub my thumb here and that joint right there if I know that joint is really sore, then I know it's not a heart attack. You work in healthcare and get exposed to so much crap. I don't want to be terrified every time. Yes, I understand that. Yeah, that's got to be tough being in that environment all the time, knowing that you're kind of taking your life into your hands, into somebody else's hands, actually. That's scary. And do you deal mostly with the sicker patients, or is it just all of them you deal with? Because I know you said it was a small facility, so I guess you see everything that comes in there, huh? I'm just taking a leave and keeping on. There you go. Was that recent? Tell you what, a leave is a beautiful thing. I'll take that over Motrin any day. I think it's more effective for pain than Motrin is. Oh, most of them are there for rehab. I see. That was in the last year or two. Wow. Thankfully, though, they can cure TB, can't they? Does that mean you're always a carrier of it if you ever were to test positive? Is it one of those things that stays forever? And can it flare up later when you least suspect it? The only thing I know of TB is watching the movie Tombstone and getting tested for it, when I was in nursing school. Remember the old yes, that stuff was amazing, and it is the same as Anaprox was amazing, and it works so well for girl stuff, Um, oh, you'll always test positive. Okay. Interesting. Why did they take that Anaprox off the market if it's so effective and it's the same thing as a lead? That don't make any sense to me. What are you doing? Did you just buy that?
I didn't buy it.
Who did? He bought. Did you get it in the mail or something?
No, we work them all. And he said, I think this dress is really pretty. Go try it on. And I said, okay.
Because it went, oh, okay. That's what I've been giving my daughter for girl stuff since she was probably 13. And it works. That stuff really works. I take 4 leaves, same as, okay. Oh, okay, because I've only been given 2. I didn't know how many milligrams was okay, so I just went with 2. Come here. Come here. Show everybody what you got. Look, y'all. Violet has a new boyfriend and he likes to buy her things. So he bought her this pretty new dress, and that color is her favorite color. It's a long dress. That is really pretty, honey.
It's corseted here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see
And
that.
and the back has the adjustables, so, or you could cross them in the back. They're buttons, and you can cross them.
That'll be great for you because you're short in the shoulders, so you can cross it and it'll fit better. Good job, sweetie. Look, let me tell you what he did. He went and, okay, Saturday night, he was off work, but she had to work. This boy, she loves the dark green too, Denise. That's one of her favorite colors, and it looks so beautiful on her with that red hair and her green eyes. It just looks like she ought to have been painted green at birth. But anyhow, this young man lives in Mobile. He drove all the way over here, made a reservation at the restaurant that she works at, sat there and ate by himself while she was waiting on him, and then tipped her $200. I said, this boy is either really, really smitten or really, really stupid. And then he goes and buys her this dress at the mall yesterday. What else? Oh, we bought her a skateboard. I can't remember what else. Every time he comes over, he brings her some little trinket because she collects rocks, minerals, gemstones, that kind of thing. And she's got a whole huge collection of them. And he brings her a little trinket of rocks or something that she likes every time he comes to visit, which is basically every weekend. There we go. He's a nice young man. He's very polite, and he's very respectful, and he treats her real nice. And I told him last night, I said, as long as you're honest with us and you treat our girl good, you don't have no problems with us. Yeah. Well, he bought the skateboard for her before her brother broke his foot. I think he bought her that about a month ago. But look, I took Murphy's skateboard from him because I can't even talk about it because I'll get aggravated again. He was trying to ride that skateboard on his one leg while he was waiting to go to the doctor, and I had to take it away from him. You'd think at 16 years old he'd have a little bit better sense. I'll tell you, I think honestly, I don't know what's more dangerous, skateboarding or motorcycles. I mean dirt bikes, not motorcycles on the road, but dirt bikes. Y'all give me 1 second. I need to ask my daughter something real quick. I can't do that. I'm just going to cover up my things so I don't blow your ears out. Hey, V, will you take Murphy his medicine and make him take his medicine, please? I'm afraid he's going to get a migraine if he skips a dose. That's what happened last time. And he's tired, so.
Yeah, let me bring him his.
Yeah. No, you got to hand it to him because he'll drop it everywhere. He's half asleep, isn't he? He's really excited about going back to school tomorrow. I think he just wants to sleep the rest of the day away so that, or and now night, so that it goes by fast. He'll get to see his girlfriend tomorrow at school. She'll probably be carrying his books for him. Come here and I'll show you. I'll show you. The two red ones and the white one. It's at night. The night PM. See that?
Oh,
What's today? What? What's
Monday.
today? Monday. Well, then give him Monday PM.
Monday?
Monday PM here. Now.
Yeah, he goes, I have a headache.
Look, Denise, I got this jumbo pill container. He had the reason I did it, let me show you something. This is a supplement that the doctor prescribed, this horse pill here, and it's called Migravent. And what it has is vitamin B2, magnesium, and a substance called butterbur. This has helped him more than any of the Zonegran has. This thing right here, he has not had a migraine since February 17th. And I started giving him these at the end of January. It's amazing. I don't know if it's coincidence, but it's good enough for me, and I'll be buying more of them. In fact, I just ordered some yesterday. But this is the most wonderful, it's Migra, Migra Vent, Migravent. But it was recommended to us by his neurologist, along with the other medications that he gets for his migraines. He said, try this stuff. They've been doing studies on butterbur and how it helps prevent migraines, also magnesium and B2. And it's really, I read a couple of studies and they're having good luck with it. And I know just from personal experience, maybe it's just anecdotal, but it's working here for my son. Hey, you need to lay down, mister. Behave yourself. My dog has been kind of pent up today in the house, and he hasn't been able to go out too much and play and, do dog stuff. Because it's been raining off and on. And I think he's a little hyperactive this evening. Yeah, look into it because if it helps, like I told my husband, I don't care if it's really helping or not. If he thinks it's helping, that's all that's really important. It's about $40 for 60 pills. Or, whatever you call them. And honestly, I don't know how many you're supposed to take, but I'm only giving him one once a day. That's what I give him. But I do think it's twice. I'm not sure. I can't remember now. I've got the bottle up there. Yeah. But do a little bit of research about that butterbur. You'll see where they've tested it and had some pretty darn significant results with it. I wish my neighbor would go to bed. Oh, 2 to 3 times a day. Okay. Well, I only give it to him once a day, and it's been very effective. Of course, now, that being said, he's 16, he's 5'5", and weighs 100 pounds. So, there's that. I guess for a normal-sized human, 2 to 3 times a day would be fine. Yeah, this channel does not take responsibility for inaccuracy in any information discussed. Do your own research. Thank you, Jane Doe. I'm not a doctor. I'm my doctor told me to do for my son. And it seems to be helping him tremendously. And I'm just sharing that personal information. Thank you, Jane. You are so thoughtful when it comes to this kind of stuff, Jane. I appreciate you so much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good Lord, y'all. It has taken me almost an hour and a half to do that one row. Can you believe that? Because I was just finishing up the last row when I started this live stream. Of course, I guess if I hadn't so much, I'd be further along than I am. I never would have thought, Jane Doe, until I saw you put that disclaimer up there. And I even saw you do it the other night in Mona's chat, and I thought, heck, or was it Robin's? I can't remember. Miss Peachnut. It was Miss Peachnut's chat. Um, I think, I don't know. Anyhow, they were all there, and I saw you put that disclaimer up, and I thought, heck, that's really smart. And I still wouldn't have thought of it. One, two, three, four, five. It was okay. Thanks for reminding me. I knew they were all up there on the screen. I surely did. I still don't know what the benefits of that sea moss they were talking about is. Do you? Because, I came in kind of late anyway. But I've never heard of that. I mean, I guess I never felt like I had a use for it. Maybe I do. Who knows? But, oh, okay. This is almost getting big enough to wrap somewhere. Maybe around my leg. Let's see. I'm about to be done with this row, so we're gonna see how big it is getting. I'll put it across my shoulders and see how many more rows I might need to do. Actually, I ought to just measure it and see. I'm by no means at the halfway point yet. I know that. Hey, what are you barking about? Come over here and lay down. Come on. Down. Right here. Down. Good boy. Nope. Down. Down. That's a good boy. Stay. This dog is really good in the house. But when you get him outside, he's got a mind of his own. And I'm not quite sure how to train that out of him. I wish I could because I really need to have a good recall with him if he ever gets out of the yard and gets in the road. I'm terrified that something will happen to him, get hit by a car or something. So far, he has not even offered to leave the yard, though. Reading the pros and cons were interesting. About the sea moss, I I know there's a lot of iodine in it, and that kind of concerns me with people consuming it so much. Not to mention all the other stuff it could probably absorb from the ocean floor as far as, lead and mercury and all that pollution. And of course, I don't know. They say that plant life is the best filters, for water. So maybe it just gets rid of it. One, two, three, four, five, and six. Yeah. I'll have to read about it. I am very interested in it because like I said, I'd never heard of it before, and I thought, well, that's something interesting I can learn about. I like to learn about things, everything. If I don't know something, I want to know it until I don't. Some things you just don't want to know all the things about. Okay, there we go. Okay, look at this, y'all. I am at the very last bobble stitch on this row, and I'm about to leave one off. And now, do y'all hear my cats in there meowing at each other, growling, whatever they're doing? They're being extremely vocal tonight. I think one of them's made the other one mad. Hang on a sec. Violet, come get your cat. I know what cat that is. That's our little three-legged cat. She's scared of everything. Oh no, not a full moon at a hospital. That's horrific. I used to be an operator at Southern Bell. I was a 411 operator. And the full moon was the worst. Absolutely the worst. So I can't even imagine how bad it is. Look at that. Look at this teeny tiny little thing. It's hardly big enough for a hit. Look at that. I guess it could be a cute little headscarf. I could put buttons on it. But no, I'm going to go ahead and continue to work on this till it's big enough to just cover her up. Give her a great big hug. Yeah, it would be a cute headscarf, wouldn't it? Oh, I swear I think I might be coming down with something. This morning when I woke up, my throat on this side was hurting, like on the inside, like a tonsil almost. And I thought, what the devil is wrong with me, right? So I took an Advil cold and sinus because that's my favorite thing to take with when I have something, that makes me feel bad. Now, mind you, I didn't feel bad. It's just my throat hurt on that one side, kind of like the mumps. No, I'm teasing. Um, but within about 20 minutes, my throat felt fine. and there was nothing wrong with it. And then on the way out to Diamond Head to the orthopedic doctor's office, it started hurting a little bit again. So I came home and I took another one. Now, mind you, this was 9 hours apart, 8 or 9 hours apart. So, and I feel fine now, but I have started having a little bit of a cough. It's scarf for a fast food drive-through when it's a bad hair day. That's hilarious. Oh my goodness. Okay. Hang on a minute. This is my bobble stitch, and then this is okay. We got this. We got this, ladies. This is going to be a fast row because it's just double crochets, and then you in each stitch, including those ones in between the bobbles. Can y'all see what I'm doing? Let me show you real close. So what you do is you go in that big stitch on top of the bobble, and then wait a minute, why did I do a single crochet? I should have done a double crochet. Okay. That bobble stitch is a long stitch on top there. So I do a double crochet there, and then I got a single crochet between each one. So I got to find it and go in there. But once you get the hang of what you're doing, it's super simple. And it goes by fairly quickly. You know, I'm going to have to find a way to get a better camera angle on this crochet, I think. And I know some people have a camera over their head or something, but I don't know how that works. Unless they have a desk behind them and they put one of those long boom type camera holders over them like that. Fast food when it's, you know what? I had the first fast food that I've had in a very long time yesterday. For whatever reason, I thought I needed a Big Mac. I don't even like Big Macs. I mean, I hadn't in the past, but I decided I needed one. And I ate it and it was delicious until I woke up 3 hours later thinking, dear God, what have I done? And had to run for the Tums. Oh my gosh, I had the worst heartburn. It was awful. So, lesson learned, do not eat at McDonald's when you're 60, 59, 60. Yeah, that was a bad decision on my part. I shouldn't have done that. But boy, it sure tasted good. You know, I don't know why these fast food restaurants put so much goop on the sandwiches. Like, so it had the special sauce on it, right? And so I pulled off the top bun and I used a paper towel and I swiped off that whole layer of lettuce and special sauce. And then I turned it upside down to the other side and I just dabbed some of that sauce off. And then it was delicious. But I really think they put too much sauce on all of those things when you're out in a restaurant situation, fast food situation. what made me decide to go to McDonald's, I didn't go, Poppy went, but my boy, his little girlfriend was feeling so sorry for him, so she drove over to sit with him on the couch and watch Godzilla. And he texted me and said, "Do you think we could get something to eat? Maybe McDonald's?" And I said, I texted him back, telling him I thought that was okay. Let me talk to Daddy. Because, I figured Daddy would have to drive because we're not putting our teenage son in the car with a teenage girl. It ain't going to happen. I don't want none of my kids riding in cars with teenagers. So, Poppy agreed to take both of them up there to the McDonald's. And the more I got to thinking about it, the more I wanted that Big Mac. So I said, "Hey, bring me back a Big Mac and some fries." I didn't want the drink. I got tea here. I don't need a drink. So that's how that came about. I don't usually go to McDonald's, though. I don't like it. I don't like fast food. I don't like the concept of fast food. If I go out to eat, I want to sit down, have somebody bring me my food, treat me like I'm important, clean up after me, and I don't have to do anything except lift the food to my mouth. Because, I mean, if you got to do any work, what's the point of going out? Just cook it at home, right? What you doing, baby? Son, what? You okay? You look a little pale. Look at me. All right. What are you doing? Just sitting here?
Showing you what?
What?
Showing you what?
What's wrong with it?
It's frozen.
One moment. I got to look at a foot. What's wrong with it? Is it worse? Ooh, it's purple and green. Good grief, son. Yikes. Yeah, the bruise is healing. It's spreading out and it's turning green. It'll be all right. Can you not hop around the kitchen? Can you put your boot on, mister?
Wasn't that?
We'll go back to bed then. You got both crutches? Okay, good. Go back to bed if you're not going to have your boot on. Good night, dear. Y'all, he's getting the biggest kick out of this green foot. If it was me, I would think I was having gangrene or something as black and purple as it. And then the green is all around the outside of it. When I broke my leg way many, many years ago, I was 16 and I was on a date, my first date with my first husband. That should have told me something, right? And apparently on our way home, he fell asleep at the wheel and ran into a billboard. And it broke my leg in 4 places. And my silly behind thought, well, I got a broke leg, so I guess they'll just take me to the hospital and put a cast on it, and I'll get to go home. Wrong answer. 5 days later and 2 surgeries, I finally was allowed to go home. And with some very angry parents. Maybe angry might not be the word. I think terrified is the word. But my dad sure acted like he was mad. But I know now that he was just terrified. But I didn't get to see all of that, the color changes and how bad my leg looked. First off, it was dark when we got in the accident, so I didn't see my leg. By the time I got to the hospital, I was laying flat on a gurney and they had shoved morphine in my arm, so I wasn't paying attention to my leg at that point. So, and then when I woke up the next morning from surgery, it was all wrapped up in a cast, and I never did get to see it until about, it was 6 or 8 weeks later. I went back to the doctor to have my cast taken, well, have a new cast put on. They left a space all the way down the center of the cast, I guess, to account for swelling after the surgery, and then for the swelling to go down afterwards. And so they had to put a new one on it, or at least I think what they did. I think they stuffed that full of cotton, that trench that they left in the center, and then they just rewrapped everything together. So I didn't really see it until, gosh, I don't even know how long it was when they got the cast off, and then they ended up putting me in a boot. I believe it was like almost 3 months. Y'all, the first time I saw my leg, it looked like it belonged to somebody else that didn't have pretty legs. And I sat there in that doctor's office and I cried and I cried and I cried. And I said, that's not my leg. And the doctor said, I'm afraid it is, but it won't look like this forever. Now, mind you, I had to go in there that day to have some pins taken out of the top part of my leg, because right underneath my knee, they put 2 pins in my leg bone in order to stabilize it so it wouldn't move around. And they took that cast off, and here was this leg that was still swollen, mind you. And it looked like there was no shape to it at all. It was just flat, like a Flintstone foot and leg. And then it had these 2 metal bars sticking out of the top of it. So it was kind of a shock to see your leg looking like that, right? Especially at 16 years old. Lord have mercy, I was a vain little 16-year-old girl. And so that day they had to take the pins out of the top of my leg for whatever reason. I think they should have left them, but it was a Franken leg. And what they did was they had this really cool thing that looked like, the chuck that you put the drill bit into. It looked like that, and they just cranked it out like this, because it was one of those metal things. I forget what they call them, but they just turned it and they attached it to the end of that pin and just cranked it backwards until it poof, out it came. That was the weirdest thing in the world. It was like fingers on a chalkboard, that thing coming out of the bone in my leg. Fun conversation, huh? But yeah, that was a gross thing right there. And then I had some pins in my ankle to hold it on after the accident. And one of them started working its way out. So when I had my boot on, I was able to wear shoes with my boot, or a shoe with my boot, And what was happening is it looked like you take your skin and let me show you. You know how you take your skin and you can like kind of pull it up like this? That's what the side of my ankle looked like. And there was a pin underneath it, kind of about to poke through my skin. So I had to go back to the doctor. I had to go back to the doctor, and they sliced it open and they pulled it out with a pair of pliers. And there was 2 of them in there. I know, right? I know. He would keep grabbing onto the of course he numbed it up, but he was grabbing on that piece of metal and kept pulling, and it was slipping off. And every time he did that, I got more and more nauseous, because that was in my leg. I mean, it was in my ankle bone. And so every time it would slip off, it was like, again, nails on a chalkboard. And I ended up almost passing out that time. It didn't hurt at all. It was just that weird, gross feeling. But he finally got them, both of them out. And then that next summer, well, I was in that boot and cast from June of 82 until April of 83. It was a tib-fib fracture, and my ankle bone was a compound fracture. And the fib was broken in two places. The tibia was broken in one place, right in the middle of my leg, and then the inside of my ankle had come through the skin. And that very next summer, they did surgery to take out the plates and the screws that were holding the two fibs together, or the two fib breaks together. But every time I would go to the doctor, I would be so angry because they would say, okay, only 6 more weeks. And then I'd go back and it would be 6 more weeks. And then I'd go back and he'd say 6 more weeks again. And finally, I told him to quit lying to me and just tell me when I could get this cast off. And of course, it was going to be a long time because that tibia bone in your body is like the second largest one, and it takes the longest to heal other than your femur, your thigh bone. And so there I was chomping at the bit because I was going to graduate high school. I had to go to the prom, for crying out loud. How am I going to go to the prom in tennis shoes and a boot, or walk my graduation in tennis shoes and a boot? So I made it my mission to wear high heels to my prom and to my graduation. Well, I ended up wearing high heels to my graduation, not my prom. But they weren't real high. They were probably about kitten heels, the little, yeah. So, but I was in heels and I was so happy because I had to wear tennis shoes the whole time I was in that boot, which was about 6 of the 9 months. And I swore after that I would never wear tennis shoes again. And I've almost stuck by that. I don't wear tennis shoes very often. The only time I wear tennis shoes is when I go on my walks in the morning. So, and I have them kind of tennis shoes you can just pull on instead of lace up. I like those. Oops, there we go. All right, I'm almost done with this row. It won't be but a minute. Isn't that amazing how fast this second row is going versus the one I just did? What are you doing, dear? My son's back out here again. You getting some more? Why didn't you do that last time you were out here? Okay, then. What are you eating? You getting something to eat? Okay. Do you need help? All right. Go to sleep, sweetheart. You can't be sleeping in class tomorrow. I kept hearing this noise and I turned around and my cat's drinking water out of the bowl over there. Thought, what in the world is dripping? It sounded like a drip. Please don't tell me it's raining again. I've had all the rain I want. I know there's supposed to be some crazy storm coming this weekend, y'all. And I think Mississippi might be in the middle of it, Denise. So y'all be careful. Stay safe. out there. I don't know where else the storm's gonna be, but it's gonna cover a pretty large area in the middle of the country. Ryan Hall was talking about it today, saying it was gonna be the worst storm of March. I hope that doesn't mean tornadoes. Shh, shh. You good boy. He went over and laid down in his bed without being told. Oh, Mississippi and Alabama. Okay. I'm not looking forward to that. It by the look of it, it seemed like it was going to stay a little bit north of us. I mean, we're still gonna get some storm, but not the worst of it. Yes, we do. We do get it in March, don't we? Especially the yeah. Mm, mm. Well, they say, what is it? March comes in like a lion and out like a lamb. That's what my grandma used to say anyway. Of course, she was from Indiana. What does she know about Mississippi weather, Saturday. I don't know what Sunday's supposed to look like, do y'all? Um, sh- Poppy, I think, might be going out of town for the weekend to go work in Alabama, and I'm a little concerned about him driving back on Sunday night if he goes. I don't even know if he's really going, but um, I don't want him driving back in a storm, that's for sure. Oh, Sunday looks good. Okay, that's good to know. That is really good to know. Of course, I'll be looking at the weather between now and then anyhow, but um I figure if he was going to have to drive in a storm, he could just stay until it quit storming. I hate that that one row took so long to finish. Gosh. So what y'all have for dinner tonight? Because I didn't have dinner yet, and I probably won't. I'll have some Triscuits and some string cheese and go to bed, I think. Much later, of course. Looks like I just might, will try to get to bed by midnight because I got to get up with the boy in the morning. Isn't that crazy? He's 16 years old. He's in the 10th grade. And you would think that I'd be able to sleep in and let him get himself off to school every morning. And I could, but I don't prefer to do it that way. When I was a kid, everybody was gone when I left the house. My honey brought me Mexican. Oh, enchiladas and beans and rice. That sounds delicious. Oh gosh, I should have went to get me some Mexican. Maybe my daughter will go. What time is it? Oh crap, it's too late now. I'll get her to run for me tomorrow. Gosh, you know what? I haven't done a Uber Eats or DoorDash in a long, long time. I wonder, I might do that for myself for lunch tomorrow. Shh, don't tell nobody. Poppy'd have come undone. It's like, wait a minute. You make me pack my lunches and you're going to go out to or have Mexican delivered? Y'all, he wouldn't really. He wouldn't get in a fit about it. He usually tells me do whatever I want to do anyway. Um, no, he wouldn't have a come apart. It's like every now and he packs his lunch every day to go to work. And he's been doing that since the day we got married. I mean, it's been 24 years now, and every once in a while he'll say, "Hey, do you mind if I go have lunch somewhere?" And I'll look at him like he's got two heads, and I'm like, "Why are you asking me?" Of if you got the money in the bank, go. Cause he has money in his own account, and he don't never spend nothing on himself, nothing. I have to make him buy socks or buy them for him, and I'll say, "Go get yourself something for lunch, for crying out loud. Go out with your friends at work or whatever you want to do. I don't care if you go eat somewhere, for crying out loud. Don't make no sense to me. Do you mind if I care? Country fried steak. Oh, Jane Doe. Good Lord, that sounds good. You know what? I got some cube steak in the freezer and some taters down there. Dang it. I'm trying to eat low carb, y'all. Enchiladas and mashed potatoes are not low carb, are they? I forgot about my low carb thing. Oh. Maybe I could have maybe a taco salad without the shell. I actually defrosted myself some chicken tonight. Oh, well, I put it in the microwave to defrost it about halfway, and then I stuck it in the refrigerator so it'll be good and defrosted tomorrow morning. I'm going to make, and this is my own invention. I don't know if anybody else has ever done it. I didn't Google it or nothing. I'm trying to, this is crazy, I know. But I get so tired of eggs every day when I'm eating low carb. And I've discovered that I really like to eat soup for breakfast. Go figure. So I'm trying to come up with different types of soup I can make for breakfast. And I've got this one in mind. First of all, well, there's three of them. A creamy cauliflower soup. And the other one is a chicken, kale, and mushroom soup. And then the other one is a sausage and cabbage soup. I haven't quite figured out the sausage and cabbage angle yet, but not basically breakfast sausage, maybe Italian sausage. I've got some of that in there too. That might be good. Italian sausage with cabbage. What do you think? It does sound good, don't it, Denise? I love me some country fried steak. You know what would be the icing on the cake with that is a whole big old bowl of mustard greens with some pieces of ham in it. Good Lord. And some cornbread. Shoo, shoo. That's some good eating there. Um, but yeah, those are my three soups that I want to experiment with. Um, I thought, I don't know where I got the idea that soup for breakfast was a good idea. I guess it doesn't matter what you eat for breakfast. I like to have breakfast for dinner, you know. I can't tell you how many times in my adult life I've made eggs and water or French toast for dinner. Bacon. That's delicious, actually. I love French toast. It's one of my favorite things to eat. Hey, Mona, how are you? Hey, Mona, do you want to come up here and chat with me for a bit? If you do, I'll throw a link down there. Shoot. Well, Denise, if you're off work, you're welcome too. You might look frowned upon if you do it at work. Okay. Here, let me put a, let's see. You just got home from where? It's awfully late for you to be just getting home. Were you hanging out with a friend? They don't care. Everyone is asleep. But doing a live in my scrubs with my hospital name on it. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, it would. Very unwise. Well, there's a link if you want to come up, Mona. So what you been up to, Mona? Okay, look at that. Look how fast that second row was. Compare, not second, but the second one I've done on here compared to one. Can you believe that? That's just pure aggravating right there. Can you see in the change it over real quick? Can you see where the color's starting to? No, you really can't. The color is starting to change right here to just a bright. What they've done is added one little thread of red in there, a lighter red. Is it one thread or more? It might be. Well, if I could see. Yeah, this is a 6-ply yarn. I had no idea. I thought it was 4. That's interesting. So anyhow, what they've done is added a little brighter red threads in with the burgundy, starting about right here. So it's going to get brighter and brighter as it gets longer and longer. So that's fun. So what I'm doing is I look at my skein here, and gosh, you can't see. There's so much light on it. Hang on, let me see if I can turn that. See how that looks a little speckledy? It's because there's darker burgundy mixed in with this brighter red here. And it goes all the way to about here in the skein. Then the next one, they've added even more brightness. And then it just goes on until it's solid red threads, bright red threads. I love this kind of yarn, y'all. It's some of my very, very favorite yarn. Not necessarily the brand, but the weight of it and the way they make it a gradient like that. Just like the blue one that I showed you earlier. Even though this isn't a gradient, they just one and so subtly. Like with this, you can tell that they added a strand of blue, another strand of blue, and even here they added purple to the lighter blue. I just think it's the coolest thing in the world. I can't wait to buy some more of these. You know, I used to get them on Hirschner's. Their mill ends were $14.99 a bag, and you get 2 in a bag. Well, that's only 750 per ball. Well, this stuff is expensive, y'all. I mean, if you go on Etsy, you can get them for between $14 and $20 a ball, depending on how much yarn you get in them. Some are 800 yards, some are 1,000 yards. Some of these things, depending on where they come from and who's making them. Now, this is a yarn art. right here. This is yarn art, and it's a company. But there are people who do this, spin it themselves, and they're selling their balls of yarn 1,000 yards or meters, excuse me, 1,100 yards for like almost $30. They're beautiful. Are they worth it? Yeah, they are. Um, to me, they are. But I just love this kind of yarn, and I love working with this weight of yarn. I think it's one of my very favorites to work with, truly. And I only have a few of these left. I've got this one, the red one I'm working with, and then I have a black, orange, white, and gold yellow color mixed with a real sparkly silver strand. And I've got two of those. And I've got a brown and blue that's very similar to this, but it's lighter blue on the outside and brown in the middle, kind of a milk chocolate brown. And then, oh, I have another one. Let me show you guys this one. I don't know if y'all remember that I made this blanket a while back, but I made two of these. I gave one to my son for his baby, and then I made this one. And gosh, I don't even know if you can. You know what? I'll do it this way. See that? This is I have two more balls of this exact color left. And I really, really love these colors. But there's actually more pink in it than this. I just stopped when it started turning pink because at that point I knew we were having a boy, and I didn't want a lot of pink in it. A little bit's good, just not overpowering pink. So I think I want to make a shawl out of this and start with the center and have it go down to the blue. So I've got two balls of this that I can use for that. I won't use both on the same shawl, but still. You know what would be really cool is, oh my gosh, listen to this. What if I made a cardigan out of it? That's a good idea. That would make such a nice lightweight cardigan. I could do it in maybe a V-stitch or a shell stitch, and it would be kind of frilly and girly. Hmm. I mean, I don't wanna be some old lady trying to look like I'm 15 again or 25 or whatever, but still, a little bit of feminine would be okay. Hmm. I'm gonna have to think on that. Thank you, Jane. Thank you. That was one of that is a Allison Russell design. I got that from her website. It's called, shoot, the something baby shawl. It's called a baby shawl. I do remember that. But if you go to her page and just use the search bar and type in baby shawl, it'll come up. I think hers was done in it's been a while. It's been a really long time since I looked at that pattern. I wanna say she did hers in pink. I I wanna say that. But I've done a few of her blankets, so don't hold me to it, okay? I've done probably 3 of her designs. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna do this one last row, I think. What time is it, y'all? Oh, Lord. I think I'm going to call it quits tonight. Because it's going to take me longer than, yeah, it's going to take me too long to finish this, and then I can't get to bed by midnight. So thank you all for coming in tonight. I enjoyed seeing you. I'm glad I'm back from my little break, and I will be back again on I'll definitely be back on Saturday night at about 9:30. And also, I'm probably going to do some pop-up lives during the day this week. I'm going to start practicing with doing pop-up lives, maybe an hour long during the daytime, and see basically where the audience is, you know. And anyhow, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys again next time. Y'all take care, and I'll talk soon, all right?